Greetings, mortals. I am Natus, the ruler of the underworld, and its time has finally arrived. That way we end the Beast Pirates discussion series is with the big man himself. And that's of course Kaido of the 100 Beasts! Roar! I mean, okay, this isn't technically Kaido, it's just one of Jay's lightning dragons that was in Dragon Hunter the season. Kai's a boy he did honestly reappear in the newest seasons of Dragon's Risings, but whatever. I think he looks relatively close enough to Kaido, though in terms of color scheme and actually a lot of details. Just change his blue stuff for the uh, was it I think yellow, oranges, flamey cloud thing, and you pretty much have Kaido and with the cell, of course, but whatever. I'll think about making Kaido instead of him, although I think I have to change this, but whatever. Anyways, let's get into this Kaido discussion video because that's the reason why we're here. So, as all previous ones, we'll be talking about Kaido's past, current effect on the story, personality, relationships, fighting styles, and all that. Maybe not in this order, but more or less. If it's going that general frame. So let's start with Kaido's history. So Kaido's history is one of those we have stuff about him. It's not like he's one of those has one fragment of information about like Sasaki, okay, and some others. But we also don't know that much. But we also have like less than you'd expect because his was a lot choppier. I think it was like his backstory was revealed in like the final few chapters in the fight, and it was like not even like a full chapter. I think it was like a good portion of the chapter, but not in the entirety of a chapter. So we don't really have insane amount, but we do have some stuff. So, anyways, we first have Kaido be born in some random kingdom. I think his name after some kind of Russian drink or something. I think we're referencing Kaido being a drunk, honestly. Where even as he was there living, and even as a 10-year-old, he was a really freakishly powerful individual who was making an entire army be like, oh shit! Like he was making everyone, cower in fear over his overwhelming strength to a point that his kingdom, in replacement for the tribute, for the for the celestial dragons, decided to give Kaido to the government so they could. I think it was just supposed to have made him raise him to turn him into a super soldier of one of the CP9 members or something, because similar to like Big Mom when Mother Kama wanted to give her to the government, and that's what happened with Kaido. They wanted him, and they did get their hands on him, but Kaido, being the freakishly powerful 10-year-old that he was, just managed to escape from it because again he was freakishly powerful. I guess a bit like kind of think about it, this guy implies that Big Mom was stronger than baby Kaido than 10-year-old Kaido because Big Mom, I believe, was 8-year-old, an 8-year-old when she was causing Rampage, but then you have Kaido who was a 10-year-old and he was at least got into the ship when it came to at least got to the ship of the Marines before he escaped. So I guess a little funny thing, but regardless of that, then I think it's a bit of a blank period between Kaido's past until he inevitably joined the Rocks Pirates, and that's where he was kind of part of it, where he was the apprentice pirate and a 15-year-old uh, during that time during that time period. And he was there during the Rocks Valley incident, where and we I think recently got like how he looked. Well, at least in the manga, I believe how he looked during that time period when we had the whole Kuma flashback, because that flashback involved the Rocks pirate being on the God Valley. So we have that. So we have that incident where Kaido. That's where Kaido got his fruit, because one thing that was revealed is that the reason why Kaido has his well, it's not dragon on me. I think it's supposed to be fish fruit titled Okyo or something. The fish that became just got transformed into a dragon. That's where Kaido got uh, his devil fruit because Big Mom took it for him and then gave it to him, and that's how he survived. Probably a waterfall or something. He just survived, and then I guess he just kind of bailed when the rock spots disbanded because I believe. I mean, I think it's implied that Kaido just sort of transformed into a dragon and then flew away from the thing because Big Mom I believe was asking, "Where is Kaido? Where did he go?" So I think this at least implies that it was like one of those things where Big Mom and Kaido just said, "Nah, I don't want to be a part of your crew. I'll go make my own crew. I'm my own man." So yeah, and then we have him at some point being captured by the Marines because Kaido has been captured a lot of times. It's just they could kill him. So instead, Kaido got Kaido that, and he was given to Vegapunk to experiment on, and that's where Vegapunk got his Devil Fruit essence, and that's where he created the Devil Fruit that Momonosuke is gonna eat eventually, or he's got the resources that he took, well, the information he needed to recreate Kaido's Devil Fruit. He met King there, and he freed him, and they left that area until they whenever they went back to I believe to the Paradise Island because during that time periods where I believe Zhang Shi was that his name, Zhang Shi, Zhang Wu, whatever, one of the that pirate that was also part of the art school was in charge, but during that time period Cloud was just kind of like the big name pirate, significantly more powerful than the average pirate, but nothing. Not I don't believe a Yonko yet, or maybe he was a Yonko. I don't know. He generally doesn't seem to have that much power and resources during that time period to be considered a Yonko. And I could see Kyle taking over Wano as him becoming a Yonko. I don't think it's ever really stated. But yeah, but I don't think it's mentioned a lot about how exactly any of the Yonko became the Yonko outside of us. Oh, seeing why they're Yonkos, basically. Like, we can see why they became, but I don't believe it's ever straight up said what incident or what they do, what made them decide this is you becoming a Yonko. Maybe someone's gonna ask, maybe it's gonna be real in a video card or something, thing on what exactly were the events that led to Yonkos being formed. But regardless, Kaido during that time period, I also think that was the time period where Whitebeard, Big Mom, Roger, and uh, Whitebeard, Roger, and Shiki were the warlords. Well, were the emperors, or at least after Roger fell and Shiki fell from their graces. So that's where it was like two openings basically. So Kaido during that time period, I don't think was a Yonko. But until Urabashi Orochi's grandaunt, or whatever she was, so Orochi came up and in this phase that she might have also been a part of the Rocks Pirates with Kaido. Since, she had like a phase that was similar to Shiki, I believe another phase that kind of resembled Bakken. Although I think that was just, although I'm not entirely certain, maybe not exactly. Like, the weird thing is we haven't actually seen Bakken, we haven't seen a close up, I believe, of Bakken during that time period. Unless if I'm misremembering the page with all the Rocks Pirates, but regardless, uh, we have she was there and she told Kaido about the land and all the information about that, so he was like, well, I guess, yeah, you have a point. That land of war would be a very useful place for me, so he just took a king, maybe he got a queen at that point. I mean, we know Queen was a part of the Beast Pirates and very much the left hand man of Kaido when the fight against Oda and the Scabbards happened, but we don't. But I don't believe he was shown to be there when Kaido and King first learned about it. I could see Queen being another additional person uh, they got during that time period, similar to Jack because Jack was also there, but he was only an 8-year-old. So regardless how you look at King and Kyle were definitely there with Queen. Maybe joined some period during that time, or the very least, we can at the bare minimum put it, say around the period where Kyle was deciding to go to Wano, and beforehand that's where we know Queen joined. So he went there, he took over pretty quickly. Like it wouldn't be surprising. Like even when the attack of another castle that happened, Kyle was easily the strongest. No one could really face up against him. I mean, he did say that if Oden and Hyugo combined their forces, they would have been able to to throw him out. Like he did acknowledge that. Otherwise, they could defeat the Beast Pirates. But when it comes to Kara, it's very clear that he is still one of the strongest characters there. So he went there. So he went there, took over. Odin showed up eventually. Kaido kind of scared. Kaido showed up, threatened him, then the civilians and all that issue because he's a giant fucking blue dragon in the heart of where all the civilians are. About between him and Odin, regardless if Odin would have won, would have been devastating for the people. So they instead made a deal that Odin's gonna make himself look like a fool, and Kaido is going to release the people and all that. So Kaido and Orochi just kind of spent just time chilling and laughing at Odin. Well, at least Orochi does, until eventually Kaido just until eventually Oda realizes that Orochi betrayed the deal, because I don't think Kaido would really give a shit as much about it. But regardless, Oda finds out that the deal is not going through, or there's some there is some things that go against. I think it was just like Hyugo being imprisoned and his man dying. That was kind of like the. No, I think it was attack on his Toki that caused issues with him. Damn. So he decided to go. Or is that? Oh, I'm confusing. Regardless, the deal didn't go. Oden was dissatisfied with the deal, or he realized that Orochi and Okada were not pulling their weight. They're part of the deal, so he and the Scabbards went there. By that time, Conjuro, being the traitor that he is, revealed that information to Kaido, and Kaido got all his forces right before I think right after his castle was built on Onigashima, and they went to a battle. And during that battle, the Scabbards everyone lost, and Kaido got his stuck up because Oda did his awesome conqueror's hockey thing and slash, and that's the axe on Kaido, which okay, it's a bit of a debatable if Oden would have beaten Kaido in that point. It since that since Kaido did not go into his hybrid form, so he didn't go into his strongest form, and he still stood up and still able to fight. Like even if Kaido is physically, it's very difficult to damage Kaido, but I don't think just because you damage Kaido, you're automatically gonna be able to say it's definitive he would lose to Oden. But it doesn't matter because Higurashi shows up and uses Momonosuke. No, one of the Beast Pirates shows up and uses, looks like he's there holding Momonosuke hostage, and that distracts Oden. So Kaido just Thunder Bakuras Oden unconscious, and and Oden is defeated and captured, and yeah. Now, after that battle, not sure if it was immediately after, but at some point, Kaido is so pissed at at the way how he won that fight, because the thing about Kaido is that he's like one of those guys who does understand there is no like fair play amongst pirates, but there's also they want to win properly. If I'm gonna be and conquer someone's land, I want their king to be beaten properly. I don't want poison or shit like that. If there is a fight for the land, I want to win, and that's the reason why I have it. So Kaido goes along. He's not happy and he does kill it, but it's but outside of that, he pretty much wins. But regardless, he is not pleased, but he goes along with it. So afterwards, he attends the execution. Oden, for some reason, feels like there's the next deal will go out with him saying that he will protect his subordinates. We have that like boiling pot and all that stuff with him. because otherwise the scabbards would jump in the fire with him, but Odin carried representing what Odin is supposed to be, where he carries everyone's burdens on himself. So Odin carried it was holding it up, and and Kaido was like agreeing with it. And he was like, "Whatever, I don't give a shit," because he doesn't have any reason to care. As then the time passed, and while Orochi is like, "Oh no! I in the last second tried to change this execution to a firing squad, so it doesn't count, even because you don't know because you win." So he wants to attack them, but the Odin throws the scabbards away, so they escape. And well, it's just Kaido and Odin. I mean, there are other people as well, but they don't matter. Kaido is just like kind of taking a revolver, and he's like, I suppose I should take you out of your misery quickly, at least. So, anyways, Odin, sorry about that bitch that interfered with our fight. Like, I wouldn't want it, but what can you do? I'm a pirate. I'm not exactly happy, but I will have to do it. No hard feelings. And Odin's like also kind of hard feeling. Like he kind of understands how the pirates work works, but he says it doesn't matter because because his disciples basically will carry out his will and they will save Wano in 20 years. And he's like makes that like final pose and says, Odin was born to boil. And Kaido just fires at it like whatever. The only thing that really does come out of this for Kaido is the fact that his daughter was there as well, and his daughter was a really big fan of this and started to imitate Odin a lot, which annoyed Kaido to all hell, and he was pissed as fuck. And that's kind of like the final things in the flashbacks when it comes down to it, because, well, I also forgot to mention there was a fight during that time period where Odin was dancing, there was also a fight between Kaido and Moya, but we don't really know much about them, just that Moya lost miserably to Kaido, and that's it. And supports my theory that Moya might actually be a lot stronger than we give him credit for. Maybe I'll make a Halloween video for Moya, now I think about it. But yeah, anyways, we have Kaido there. So anyways, Kaido gets annoyed with Yamato and wants to punish her a lot. Like he puts as a punishment puts her in the same room that the other samurai, the remaining samurai who were opposed to Kaido's rule, banded together to go fight against him. But Kaido and he puts her there to. I'm not sure if he was expecting her to die or if it was just like, oh, you're gonna have to beat these guys if you want to survive. But the samurai they just kind of give her the food, so it's kind of completely contrary to it. They're like, oh, you give us the blades to go up against the other, and go, well, guess what? All we gotta do is cut our shackles off and go fight you and feed your daughter. And they just left. They didn't care. Like she's a daughter. She's a fan of Odin. There's no reason to go up against. Like there's no reason for us to kill her outside of because she's a daughter, and outside that there's like nothing about her to kill. So yeah, then we get like little stuff about it, like little fragments. Like he took in a friend of his, probably on the rocks. Who I think it's got big, but pretty much unprecise rocks. But who his friend's children being ulti in page one. I'm not sure how that went, but he took them in and kind of developed like a father relationship with them. And the I think that's all the and I think also some of few other minor things that were probably mentioned during that time period, but I can't remember them on top of my head right now. Then we get to the actual story where the first time I believe Kaido is mentioned. I mean, the young emperors are mentioned beforehand, but Kaido and how much Oda had planned for Kaido and Big Mom is doubtful because I don't think we even because there's very generic designs for those two when we first get Match of the Emperors. We get his name drop at Philip Rock, which at least makes me think that they had some plans for Kaido during that time period. But yeah, he has them mentioned, and then he next time he's mentioned is during the Marineford War when people mention that he was that he was going towards them because fucking Blue Dragons knows it was all hell. But then Shanks intercepted him I don't believe Kaido has any scars that would imply that he and Shanks have a fight, and I feel like Shanks should at least be able to like I may hate Shanks with a burning passion, but I will admit that if Shanks and Kaido fought, Shanks will at least scar Kaido, and Kaido doesn't seem to have any scars that come from Shanks, so it's very likely that Shanks resolved it in some kind of peaceful solution. Maybe offered a drink, maybe like give it like at least how allow your old friend to like maybe it was like one of those things like okay at least allow his Whitebeard to save his comrades and then you can go and go up against Whitebeard kind of deal. Maybe it was something like that, but regardless, Kaido did not appear to keep him vague, and then afterwards he disappears until we come into new world where we put one giant target on Kaido's back, saying that Kaido is gonna be the first Yonko that Luffy's gonna go up against and beat, basically. And then we don't see him for until the end, just Rosa and Zoak, where we have first introduction to Kaido. Then we have him like being built up as this insanely figure. Like we see him on a skyline island, is jumping off as we have the narrator queuing and being like, he was attempted, he was defeated this many times. He escaped this many times. He was captured this many times, and then we have him just falling down to where Kid, Apu, and Basil had their alliance. As then find out that Kaido is pissed off that, oh, start this war, Joker, I want to end my life. And afterwards, it was, I think, revealed later that this was planned by Apu, at the very least, the part about the place where Apu was meeting Kid and Basil, and Kaido took that opportunity to ask them, join or die, be defeated, and have your wills broken. And then he fought Killer and everyone. He defeated everyone. Killer and the Kid Pirates escaped, but Kid was captured until they were later captured and forced to work for Kaido to save their captain. Which we see the Kid was captured because we cut after. I believe it was after Zoak, where we have Kaido crying his eyes up, like, "Oh, Joker, how could you have been captured? I mean, I guess you were weak, so it does make sense, but still." So yeah, and then we have Kaido proclaiming, "Go, come, Straw Hat Luffy, I'll beat you," and and then we got away from him because we have Tot Lendock until we cut back to the I think rivalry where we have him like mentioning Big Mom a bit, but not being much like you caused me trouble, so why are you going in her place? And then we got to the one arc where we have a lot of him. Like we first have him being introduced and reveal that he's a blue dragon, which in the beginning was kind of theorized if he maybe was a legitimate dragon because of the shifting abilities of dragons. Until it was revealed that it was just a devil fruit. So we have Kaido there. He's kind of like we also get his quirk, which is that he's a drunk in a lot of stories. So because when he's first shown, he's like, "Hey Jack, why are you cut? Is it that the fat pink head guy shot you? That's funny." Like he has like a mood swings when he's drunk, but Beidou is able to redirect Kaido to where the Straw Hats and their allies are, and he goes and destroys Odin's castle. And then Luffy is enraged, goes to punch Kaido and beat him down, but Kaido is able to take everything, and he one-shots Luffy and sobers up. And then after Luffy is defeated, he leaves. Then we gave him a few to him a few times, like reacting to Big Mom situation and cue the child support jokes. And when Big Mom is at his entrance and he fights them, reacting to the Komurasaki, to the Yasuie's execution, and we cut a few times of battle until we end in Act 2 of Wano with him and Big Mom announcing that they are forming a pirate alliance to take down the New World and all that. So we have that too, and so we have them aligned there, which kind of unfortunate that doesn't play out because I would have actually really liked to see how alliance between Big Mom and Kaido's Big Mom Pirates and Beast Pirates for this whole would look like. But regardless, we have Kaido and Big Mom's alliance, and then we have him in Act 3 being a little bit more participating, but in the beginning he's just kind of like bodyguarding, dropping like, "Hey, where is everyone? Where is Big Mom? Oh, she's getting all right. Oh yeah, there's a meeting with Toby up. All right. I'm not sure who called them, but all right, I'll have the meeting because I do have something they have to do because Yamato ran away and all that stuff. So we have Kaido asking them about. So we have Kaido just mean Toby Ropo. Barker explains to us everything, and then we tell like it's time to give the actual announcement, everything to explain everyone, which was something I was like wondering what was Kaido going to say. And that's basically the plan is unite the two factions, get the ancient weapons, and then go attack. Because while the Wilgar may have this said no more to show Shibukai, he can tell they're not dumb, so maximize their power as much as they can, which is very logical, of course, to our actions. And then after the announcement, he cuts the BS with Orochi, cuts him out, and says, "All right, Samurai of Wano, you can either join me or I'm gonna kill you. If you decide to go against me, you will have my respect, but I will be better if we fought alongside." Then we have the samurai who worked with Orochi all joining Kaido, and then we have Fam coming. I don't think he was disappointed, but like, oh, I should have seen that coming. But then the Red Scabbard show up, push him down. They use Odin's hockey, and they are basically make him kind of like scream in pain because he remembers that moment. But Kaido then just runs to the dragon, goes on the rooftop, and cools himself down a bit. And that's where we have like a bunch of just, and that's where Kaido just reaches the combat portion where he fights the scabbards, he beats them, he fights Luffy, Zoro, Killer, Kid, and Law on the rooftop for a bit until Big Mom and Luffy, until Big Mom, Zoro, Kid, Law, Killer, and all those guys go fight somewhere else, and then he defeats Luffy. Then he's a bit pissed because, oh, if I just come and announce that he lost, it's not gonna matter because they need to see their leader being beaten. Oh shit. As then Yamato shows up and fights him for a bit until Luffy and Momonosuke show back up and Momonosuke gets a by hand, but Momonosuke can't do shit against Kaido because Momonosuke barely knows what he's doing. But regardless, it's like a small little fact until Yamato and Momonosuke go to try to prevent the island from seeking explosion because Kaido lifted the island up, I believe, when the Scabbards and him were on the rooftop. So then we have Kaido. So then we have Kaido and Luffy fighting a bit. And it's like one of those very close fights already in his hybrid form, in which then a CP9 agent shows up, interferes a bit in their battle, as then Kaido goes for like this like similar type of attack as Inuarashi and Luffy had. Well, Inuarashi and Jack had like one attack and will take the other one out, which I don't really know. You could take Kaido out because Kaido is then able to fight Gear 5 Luffy for a lot of things and does a lot. And Gear 5 Luffy does a lot of damage to Kaido. But regardless, Gear 5, Kaido slams down Luffy at that state and at the Shaka state before because. I mean, in a moment, Kaido realizes, wait a minute, there's someone interfering. You cannot properly strike or block because of that CP mem agent bastard. But, it's kind of force of motion, so he slams Luffy down again. Luffy is out again this time, and he thinks that he's dead. And then Kaido just looks at him, at CP9 member, not sad, but kind of like goes that, how dare you do this? How dare you interfere? And he just slams down that CP9 member agent and kills. Well, I feel like it's safe to say he kills. I don't think we should see him again. And then Kaido is pissed and he goes down to the main floor and then he screams, "Luffy is that? He's gone. He is out. If anyone here wants to fight me, you come and fight me." And Nami gives him a bit of the business, but then Luffy gets Gear 5 and he pulls Kaido back up, and Kaido is happy because he didn't want to finish that fight the same way as how the Odin fight finished. So we have a few chapters of fights, which is a bit more of a comical fight because you have Luffy using kind of a jump rope, Luffy punching Kaido so hard that his eyes pop out and all that type of stuff because Toon Force and all that. So Kaido fights like this for a while until they're like their final stages. They have another one of their final slashes, and then Luffy makes like the giant island-sized King Kong gun, and Kaido engulfs himself in the fire and goes to smash into Luffy, and they have this air fight for like I mean they have like two chapters where they do just go to strike each other for this portion, and then Luffy wins out because he's in an arc, and Kaido gets pushed, punched down to the ground, and he like goes straight to through the. I don't think he goes through the same hole as Big Mom. I think he makes his own hole, but he falls into the hole and spends like several miles falling down, and then Aisha comes out saying how he falls and all that, and he falls into lava. If he died from that, I'm not certain because I wouldn't be surprised if they survived lava. Well, with Big Mom. I mean, for God's sake, Big Mom was for a while in the lava before Kaido joined her, and she was still seemingly undamaged. And that's the end of the Kaido storyline so far. So yeah, now with the history and story out of the way, let's get into Kaido's design. So Kaido has like a very he has a lot more intimidating design than many characters in One Piece have because he has like this giant, well, not giant, but he's a significantly half a giant-sized character with muscles all over the place. Although he has skipped leg day, which is funny because through Kaido's flashback we do see him having legs, like normal legs. I think this is more of a symptom because Oda tries to depict that era that like when Yonko were kind of more rookies to becoming you're becoming your regular pirates to becoming as great as these legendary figures. During that time, Oda likes to keep their designs relatively more to realistic pirates by appearance sake, or the very least he does like do as goofy appearances as he does for the current series. Like even characters like Moya, for example, have a relatively very standard appearance as a pirate. Like he has a weird design to begin with, but when it comes down to it, at that point, it's more like more of a big, skinny design. But regardless, Kaido has a more regular design, but this time he's kind of more regular clothes. He does wear a bit more of a Japanese style when it comes to his clothing, especially in the arc where he kind of has like a big kimono on top of him, which is kind of more like he kind of wears it more like a after shower robe or something thing than anything else. But yeah, he has that, and he also has like a few dragon skills tattooed on his arms, which is kind of like a foreshadowing for his dragon transformation, I think, as well as a scar. I think he also has like a little scratches on his eyes. Like I think his eyes have like this weird thing where they have like I think a little like scratches in them, but I think that's supposed to just be his genetics because I know Shanks was like cutting six different parts of his eyes at least. So yeah, Kyle also has horns and a blue cape and all that. And Kyle is very much a cool design character. Like he's not like Big Mom, who has kind of a comical design in some aspect. But yeah, Kyle is a very coolly designed character. And his dragon form, he goes a bit more standard dragon form. Just it's a more unique color, whether it being bright blue, which was kind of surprising when it was first revealed that he was a bright blue dragon. But because I do think Japanese dragons are usually depicted more as blue because Rory Dragon also is a girl with more I think bluish hair, and like also that would explain why Jay's dragon is blue in this situation. Jay uses dark blue anyways, but in fact it's more Japanese themed dragon. Where Dragon Joe has like more of a both combination a lot of times. But yeah, we got so Gar's design, a really cool design. Like, well, I mean, there are goofy aspects about it, especially when Oda does his faces. He has like them being exaggerated, like his drunk faces are very funny, and yeah. Now to his personality, Kaido is falls into a similar tier of Big Mom, where he does have a very goofy aspect to his personality, like his drunk parts, where he just is like a roller coaster of being drunk being like angry drunk, sad drunk, flirtatious drunk, which he does against Luffy at some point, and all that. He also does have but even not regular, he's a bit more chill of a dude. Not Shanks level chill, but more like, oh yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, I interrupted your party. Sorry about your that old tea. It's fine. But the thing is, I didn't invite you. So who called you guys? I don't know. Like he's kind of more that, but when it comes to like when he's angry, he's like very intimidating and serious. Like, oh, those damn Mercus, these years, they always think they can come after us. Well, if you want, then you can, and I will crush you all. So yeah, and kind of similar to Katakuri, has a level of respect, but also understands that it's pirates' life. Like it's just cheating, and those types of things just come with a territory. Even though if he personally does not want to commit them or be a part of them, but he's stuck being there. Relationships, like I said, most of his crewmates, he's kind of okay, right where he encourages the infighting in terms of like if you want to succeed and all that, and but he does have a bit more of like a familiar camaraderie with it. I would say kind of on a more upper scale amongst the characters because I mean while the Big Mom pirates do have a love for one another, it does feel like Big Mom doesn't have as much love for her children as much as her children have love for her. But Kyle does have, I mean, he does have his favorites. Like I would say, anyone who could be considered his adopted child is his favorite, and King, I would say, is also his favorite. With the always being like, well, fine, Black Maria, if you don't want to participate in hunting Yamato, then I guess we can party together. So yeah, Kyle is a bit more chill when it comes to his subordinates, although he is a bit annoyed with Orochi quite a few times, but because it's Orochi, so who wouldn't be annoyed with Orochi? But yeah, and he does also have something like I mean, kind of Big Mom dislike each other, which makes me feel like there's some aspect of the history that is untold yet, which kind of makes me wonder if, assuming that Big Mom and Kaido will come back into the story, or the very least how one of them escaped, or something like that, I could see us getting a flashback with those two explaining because, like, I mean, I don't know, it feels like Big Mom said that she views Kaido like a little brother, which makes sense on the crew aspect, but I don't see why they kind of had this bad falling out. Like, was it because Kaido laughed about saying a word after she gave him his dagger fruit or something? I don't know. It's like a weird kind of thing. Like their relationship is very much implied and shown in the current story, but we don't have many other information about it. So it's kind of a weird thing where they kind of in between this. uh, Like they are friends and they do like each other in a friendship sense, but they don't seem to. I don't know. They seem to be in odds in each other for some reason. It's kind of like that more violent version of Shanks and Whitebeard, where they don't really dislike each other, but they kind of understand their rivals in this sense. I guess it's because both of them kind of wanted more the One Piece than the other ones, like Shanks and Whitebeard. I don't think they didn't really go after the One Piece at all. All of the competition went for Shanks in this case, at least. So it's kind of like one of those things. But regardless, Kaido, Kaido though Laws have some kind of respect towards that. And similar to Luffy, he does respect Luffy as a pirate. He does take him seriously because it says like it would. I'm sorry about the CP9 member. I did not like it and all that. So it's similar with Oden. He respects at least like it's kind of like similar way how Garp respects Roger in a lot of respects, and that's kind of similar with Kyle. Like, he respects you, but he doesn't like you. I mean, if it comes down to it, he probably would pick drinking beer, but if it's combat, I would prefer beating him properly. So yeah, Kyle, those relationships are like that. Then for his movesets, his again, his 5 star is a lot more like more brutish, where he uses a bow, and I mean he doesn't like go into a fist fight much. Funny enough, he's like dark he is, but usually just relies on his bow to smash and stuff. And I think his main move just seems to be funnel Barkway, and I don't think he has like anything else in his normal state, just strength, speed, and stuff, as well as all forms of hockey with advanced. Okay, that's the thing about Kaido is that there's also like a bit of a weird thing moment when it comes to hockey. Like, I think he does use hockey. There are moments, but I don't think they're that obvious. Like when he uses arm and hockey, he has advanced observation, but funny enough, his observation hockey seems to be worse than Karakuri because Karakuri has them constantly activated. But Kaido says, "Oh shit, I don't. This drains my hockey too much." So kind of funny. Karakuri has better observation hockey than Kaido, and has better Devil Fruit because better at using his Devil Fruit because Karakuri's is awakened Delphoid user, which is fine considering how much they shit on Doflamingo after the Dressrosa arc, but none of the Beast Pirates have awakened, so it's kind of left funny about that. But I mean, it's kind of ambiguous if he does have awakened or not, because there might have been awakenings, but so far we don't know. I mean, his base form does have like the awakened frills that Luffy, the Gorosei, Lucci, and Kaku have, but it's never stated. Plus, it would be weird if his base dragon form had those frills as well, especially since I don't think his hybrid form has the frills, which is usually what hybrids have. But regardless, we have regardless, guys, that moveset. He also has like a lot of elemental attacks, like he uses wind. I mean, he has like a wind slash attack. Uses a lot of lightning because again, he does have like a flame breath, but I think it's more like supposed to be like a blast of energy or lightning, or at least I believe how it's usually more displayed in normal way. Although I could just remember, I'm pretty sure there was normal fire in anime, but I think it's mostly more shown as a blast than straight up fire. So yeah, Kaido is very simplistic. I'm more like I am a bro. I'm a hard opponent for someone to beat in a legitimate fight. Like there's no like those deceitful little bullshit stuff like who's ECP9 training or Sasaki's trickery with flight and razor blades. But yeah, Kaido is relatively more of a brute force fire with some elemental attacks to spice things up. And generally, he's a very cool character. A bit undercooked, if you ask me, on the backstory and things should have been explained more, but a very cool character. Now, with that out of the way, for the future of the story, I don't know. Like, the final saga of the One Piece story is already kind of bloated with characters and things that are going to be involved, so I'm not certain if Kaido coming back and doing more stuff, unless if he joins one faction, which I don't know why he would join any current faction. Like, he respects Luffy, but I don't think he respects Luffy so much that he would join him, if you get my drift. He's not Karakuri, if you know what I mean. So I'm not entirely certain, although I could see him kind of coming back because I believe it was in a map. I think someone put it on Reddit, but something like a map that we got from where Kyle and Big Mom were and where the ancient Wano, the one that was in the under ocean was. And it was like those things are like very close to one another, so it's possible that Big Mom and Kaido would be able to escape and do stuff. Which I could see it, but I'm not sure if Kaido himself would really wanna do it. I mean, I could see him like sacrificing his life to for Big Mom to escape. Because kind of like it's over, it's end. The next Joy Boy has been chosen, so I don't think I really need to. And Kyle was again wanted to die, so I could see him like offering his life to Big Mom. There's probably also some level of like irony, the fact that he wants to die this epic way. He talks about how people like Whitebeard they had right, but then he is like, Big Mom, you can take my life, take my entire lifespan, make a lover homie to escape. I know it's not gonna be legendary. I know I kind of it's opposite of what I wanted to, but it's fine. It's kind of like a very nice poetic ending towards it, but we'll have to wait and see if that's the case. The way I see it, Blackbeard could show up. He could just take Pluto, maybe that could cause them to escape if they're still alive, although at this point I feel like they should die of starvation, but we don't know. There was an eruption during that time period, so maybe they survived. I don't know. The whole thing is kind of ambiguous on what things are, but I think we're gonna get the solution pretty soon, especially since Yamato's cover story is focusing on one, so I could see like a thing happening with they escape. I don't think they're gonna do anything because again, like I think it would be just 2 BS if they had them be beaten, even if Big Mom and Kyle are not recovered fully to have Yamato and Scabbards beat those two. I think that would be kind of too much if you can imagine, and all of us I think want to exaggerate with stuff like that. Or maybe Black we could do and escape. Or maybe the two are just gonna, we have to assume the two died in a volcano. It was lava. They died. They spent weeks down there. Even if it took a while, they should die of lava. But regardless, I feel like Kaido's part of the story is kind of finished. I could say, like maybe the one final moment of his actual death to kind of save Big Mama, it was something I could see that. But outside that, I don't think Kaido's really necessary. Despite how much I do like him. I think he's definitely my top three members of the Beast Pirates. But I don't think Kaido really needs to come back in the story yet, or I don't see why he would come back. But yeah, anyways, I hope you liked this video on Kaido. I hope you liked the entire series. So don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. Tell me in the comments below also which characters would you want to focus on, talk about next. I mean, I do have a lot of plans, but I will not be up against any of your ideas and suggestions. So tell me in the comments below if there's anyone you want. So anyways, with all that said, I cannot wait to see all of you mortals next time. Goodbye.